So in this video, I'm going to discuss how you could fast track the Brazilian citizenship in a year. Now, if you see some of the Caribbean programs or any of the CBIs, they're taking up to a year. So, and those citizenships, a lot of people do not prefer. That's the last resort. But a quality citizenship like Brazil, the Mercosur access is worth its weight in gold. And that's why in this video, I'm going to discuss a unique option. Now, this is going to utilize a combination of exceptional citizenship and the Brazil fast track route. Now, if you look at the constitution of Brazil, there are certain nationalities that can naturalize much faster in Brazil. Now, typically it takes 7 years of physical presence and residency, but when you belong to one of those countries, there's 7 or 8 countries or slightly more that speak Portuguese, right? And if you have a nationality from those countries, and it really does not differentiate by birth versus naturalized citizen. So let's say somehow you have that nationality, then you can obviously apply for Brazilian citizenship in just 1 year. Now, typically by birth option is usually talked about for the 1 year option, and no one really talks about those other Portuguese speaking nationalities. So I've discussed the fast track component of this one, right? So yes, you can fast track it and get it in a year, or apply after a year and get the Brazilian nationality once you complete that 1 year. Now let's talk about the exceptional route. Now this is through an alternate citizenship. Now there are certain options or citizenship programs that are perfectly legal. They're called as citizenship by exception. And it could also mean by donation, you're contributing substantially to an economy and they're awarding you citizenships. Now, when you talk about substantial contribution, it really means different things to different countries. For a country like Austria, $2 million contribution might not mean substantial, right? Versus for an African nation where anything even less than 100K of donation could be substantial. The option that I'm discussing here, and unfortunately, cannot name the passport or display the passport because obviously those countries don't want to publicly market or advertise their citizenship like that. It's a private exceptional situation where you're privately doing some, like when you do charities or donations, you don't go creating publicity about it. It's a bond between you and who you're donating this money to for what good cause. And some of these nations, a couple of such nations, do accept smaller contributions, and I would say less than 100K. That's the only piece of information that I can share, less than 100K. And interesting, I'm not saying the best of the best, right? Some of these Portuguese speaking countries, some have very weak passports, but that's not the point. You're not getting this for the weak passport. You're getting this because you don't want to deal with the CBI. You don't want to taint and bust your reputation there. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to enhance your reputation, but at least it's not going to create a pure CBI reputation. Plus, on case by case basis, you could unlock fast track in one EU nation, and I've made a separate video about which nation that is. You can watch that video here. But in this video, we are talking Brazil. So you're unlocking the 1 year to naturalization potential. Again, as I'm saying, it's case by case basis, and anything that I'm saying over here, it's your responsibility to verify that with an attorney. This is not legal or immigration advice. So once you reach us, right, let's say you're interested in this option, you want to talk to our attorney clearly, discuss all your doubts and clarify all your doubts directly with the attorney. If you're interested, obviously you can click the link, book a call. We can have that initial discussion and get you onboarded. Now, the citizenship by exception, again, not a lot of details can be shared about this, but all I can say is that obviously less than 100K, no one wants to pay more than that for any citizenship, right? So less than 100K, and potentially you could fast track other options with this. And yes, we do provide support for this one. This citizenship is exceptional. Citizenship can run very fast, 15 days to 30 days. You can actually have a citizenship legally, legitimately. These are not shady programs. These are true exceptional petitions that are directly with the government. So obviously you want to stick to legal, proper channels, legal, proper programs, and you don't want to do anything illegal, no buying of shady passports for these purposes, right? It not only would create an initial issue when you're traveling, but also a long-term issue when you are trying to utilize such options in future other citizenships, right? When you're fast-tracking citizenships, you want a legal, legitimate, government-approved citizenship by exception, not shady ones which the government has no clue about. So you need to have the naturalization certificate, you need to have your passport, you need to have all the IDs that come along. Just having a passport is not gonna good enough. You want to have a reason why you naturalize. So your naturalization certificate is very important document. So you absolutely must obtain that to whoever is trying to get you into an exception situation. And that is going to be very important. Now let's just talk about how do you enter Brazil? Like how is that 1 year possible? How do you make that happen? Now Brazil has a lot of interesting options, and I'm going to discuss the Viper. Even inside of Viper, there's a lot of pathways. And Viper, I'm talking about the permanent residency, right? This 1 year should be on the permanent residency, and in this video I'm talking about the exceptional citizenship. And then the second thing I'm talking about is the fast track to Brazilian citizenship. But even within the fast track, you need to be on the permanent residency. So we are talking direct permanent residency. Yes, it is possible, and as I said, Viper is the option or the answer. Inside of Viper, there are different amounts. So let's say you're investing 180 to 190k. What is the benefit of investing that high? It could be in a business, it could be in a property. You can choose what you want to invest that much money in, but you're investing that high. That gives you a flexible residency. To maintain that type of a golden visa, you're only looking at 30 days of physical presence in the country. But let's say you're dropping that amount down to 30k, right? 30k or more, and the currency is Brazilian currency. I'm simplifying by translating that or converting that into USD. So let's say you're putting in 30k. There's some additional requirements that you have to care about, and then also you have to put slightly more time on the ground, more presence on the ground. So higher the investment, flexible your permanent residency is, lower the investment, less flexible your permanent residency is. But the whole point is to get the permanent residency. So you sit on the fast track. Let's say you have a Portuguese speaking nationality in the background that you have obtained. Let's say it's 30 days, you've obtained this nationality, you've struck the Brazilian Viper, you've obtained the permanent residency, you are on the fast track, and then you can naturalize. And you don't have to do the Brazilian program. You can obviously just keep this Portuguese speaking nationality in your background, and then in future you have a couple of options. You can always look at these powerful countries. If you don't have the time to do Brazil or any other EU nationality, then you can just have an additional lesser known interesting plan B option. And again, because this is not a marketed CBI program, it's to your benefit. Also, it's to the benefit of the country. The country doesn't want to close down or face crackdowns. That's why it does not prefer. It has enough interest from different channels, and they are happy with that kind of interest. They don't want too much attention at any point in time. You want to get started with this option or any other option, you'll always click the link, book a call. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, first thing, make sure to subscribe, because I keep reporting on new programs and hidden gems all the time. If you are subscribed, you would be notified of any changes, any new programs. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.